So today we're going to talk about my MacBook Pro Retina setup. Not so much about the specifications of the computer or the speed of the computer or how much I paid. I don't think that's really significant. You can pretty much check out the prices on Apple. But I want to talk about some of the tools I use and some of the things I use to actually not just make it more efficient, but also to protect it and also to make sure I get the best out of this machine. So something we spoke about a couple of videos ago, and that's the shortcuts. I just want to spend a quick couple of seconds talking about shortcuts. Shortcuts are very important. They can help you move items. They can help you access folders quickly. They can help you label stuff. They can help you find things fast if you know which shortcut and which keys to press on the keyboard. I don't expect everyone to know all the shortcuts that are available right now for a Mac, but I expect you to know at least let's say 5 to 10 different shortcuts, whether it's copy and paste, or if it's opening Spotlight, or if it's hiding the dock, or if it's opening the utilities folder in the Mac system. There's just certain keys you can press that will make the whole process a lot easier. So anyway, we're not going to spend much time on shortcuts. Now, some of the things that are very important when it comes to, and I'm talking to those who are doing some type of production. If you're just making YouTube videos, or if you're actually creating photos for a particular client, or if you're doing music for another client, or if you're doing music for yourself, you're an artist, you're trying to get discovered. There are certain tools you need to have to make the job a lot easier. And Lacy hard drives, I think they're not the tool to use, but a portable hard drive, such as this is just USB. A portable hard drive is good because what you don't want, let's give a quick disclaimer, you don't want to have all of your files and all of your, you call them assets, or you can just call them all of the content that you create on the computer. You don't want to have that content on the drive itself, especially with these solid state drives that are in the MacBook Retinas. They're not big. A terabyte in today's standard is considered average, believe it or not. So anything less than a terabyte, it's not small, but you're gonna run out of space pretty quickly because video takes up a lot of space, sound could take up a lot of space, and just your files just accumulate after a period of time. So a portable hard drive is good. It's another company called G Technology. This is an all aluminum enclosure. This has FireWire for 800, two of them, and one USB. This is USB 2. So portable drives are good because you can do your work in the field and you can hand it over to someone else to continue doing the work, or hand it over to the client if you have a backup of it. Hand it over to the client to say, okay, here's your finished product. You can take a look. This is your copy. However your setup is. So a portable drive is key. It's essential for production or any creative type. And it doesn't have to be portable. It can actually be a desktop drive too, where it actually plugs in to a power source, and then it actually connects to the computer either via USB, Thunderbolt, or you get an adapter and go to FireWire or any of the other connections that are out there. We're not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to show you guys a couple of drives right now. The G-Raids are very good. They have good speed. They're just really bulky. They're not something you just put in your bag or your pocket. You have to have a bag that's substantial in size to bring that around. It's pretty heavy. Then you have a company called CalDigit. They've been around for a bit. They've been kind of behind the times when it comes to updating their technology, but they're still around. Then you have some guys called Max Digital. They make really high-end, I guess you can call it multiple drives that work as one. They call them arrays or RAID arrays. And then you have Promise, which makes a Thunderbolt array that's very fast. So you have a lot of them out there. My suggestion is check them out. Look for reviews on YouTube. I may be doing some reviews of some drives very soon. Look for reviews on YouTube. Look for reviews. Do some research before you just go out and buy one at the store. And make sure you have at least a 3-year warranty because hard drives can fail. A labeling system is the second thing I would say that's important for your Retina MacBook, or if you have a PC, whatever the case is. How are you going to label the files that you create? Are you going to label them by project and date? Are you going to label them by project, date, and client name? These are the words or the names that are going to go into the files when you save them. So for instance, it could be like I'm working on a project now, a documentary. I could call it Donald's Chapter 2 documentary. Or I could just call it Don CH2 and then the name of the file, whatever the case is. So a labeling system is important. Now something, especially since we're talking about Mac here, something that's very important to know in the Mac arena is the fact that there are color labels that can be used in the Mac system. What do I mean by color labels? Let's say the client wants you to work on 50 images, and they want you to basically retouch them, or actually, if it's video, they want you to edit them, or they want you to color correct them. So you want to mark off all the ones you've done. You can select all the ones you've done and label them green. So the minute you go into that folder, you see all the green ones that are highlighted are the ones you worked on. Why is that important? Why would I want to label? I mean, besides the fact that you want to know what's done, it just gives you a glance, a quick view of what you've actually done, so that you can move on, basically. And also in the Mac system, I'm sure Windows has it too, you can actually tag your document. So for example, if I have a document, a picture of, let's say someone, because I do a lot of street photography, someone's walking down the street, they have a pocketbook, or they have a leather jacket on, or they have a rubber band on their wrists, I can label those specific things. Leather, rubber band, jacket, whatever the case is. You can put those labels in there. So the minute you type in jacket and search, it comes up. Now, that might not be important in the very beginning of your work, in the very beginning of your setup for production, but it becomes important when you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of files and you need to find something relatively quickly. So whether you're looking for all the girls that have blonde hair, or whether you're looking for all the people that are running, or whether you're looking for, even in video, whatever you want to label it as, even in music, if you're looking for all the songs with keyboard sounds or drums or guitars, you can label those files with guitar, drums, whatever they are, whatever they have in them, you can label them, tag them, so that when you type this in search, it comes up. I just think it's a great idea. So labels are very important. So we talked about tags, which are the labels. Well, sorry, excuse me. You have your file labeling system, which is what you use to label your files, so you can find them quickly. Then we have the tags that you can use to tag your files. And then we have color codes, which we can use to label different images or files to differentiate them. But then, before we even get into, one of the first things you want to do when you get your Mac for the first time, or your computer, is you want to think about how are you going to structure your hard drive. Are you going to have all the files laid out? Sometimes I do that, laid out in the whole drive from every project, or do you want to create project folders, like, let's say, clients or client names, let's say Marc Jacobs, let's say another company, Sony. You do work for Sony, they work for Marc Jacobs. So you put those names of those clients as folders, and within those folders you have your projects. That helps you just organize. It helps people, if someone else gets the hard drive, where to look for it. It's in the Marc Jacobs folder, in folder number 16, labeled 42nd Street. So just stuff like that. Those things are important before you even begin to just start creating stuff on your computer, because it just helps keep you organized. It helps save you. Now, something we didn't talk about regarding hard drives, external hard drives, and why I use them. One of the biggest things is why I said don't put your files on your internal drive is because once that drive gets full, you're going to notice some serious performance issues. The computer's actually going to tell you, and it may not even boot up. I had a very interesting encounter with a friend who had a machine that couldn't boot up, and I had to actually plug the machine into mine and make the machine into a hard drive. It's something I discovered the Mac can do. So basically, his machine wouldn't start up. I started up my machine. I plugged in the cable from his machine to mine, and I booted up his machine as a hard drive. Interesting. Anyway, so that's important because you want to keep your drive free. Having an external hard drive where your projects go on. You want to keep your drives free, and you want to be able to take your computer away and still plug it into another Mac or another PC or another Linux if you're going to use Linux, and be able to access all your files as if your machine was never down in the first place, or if you upgrade. But if that internal drive dies, usually all your files that are on there go with it. So that's one reason. That's one of the main reasons you want to get an external hard drive. Now, the basic premise of what I'm talking about here with the MacBook Retina setup is also not just what are you going to use to hook up to it, but also how are you now going to take what you've created and get it out there. And that's very important, because I'm going to touch briefly on that. Distribution is important because you don't want to have all your files here and on your internal hard drive, because what happens is the minute you're out and about with your phone and someone says, hey, I know you're a photographer, what have you done recently? You're not going to, you don't want to be in a position to say, well, let me get my Mac. Let's go to my house. Let's go look at it. I'll show what I've done recently. You want to be able to say, I'm on my phone. I can access, you want to be able to say, I'm on my phone. I can access these files that I've created relatively quickly. So what that does is it doesn't just give you credibility. I'm not even talking about in terms of are you really a photographer. I'm talking more about being ready and available to show opportunity, what you're capable of doing. And it's not a matter of being cocky or condescending. It's a matter of saying, this is what I've done. Do you need something like this done? And one secret I'll tell you guys is opportunity is not attracted to. People don't want to see your need. They don't want to know that you need a new lens. They don't want to know that you need a new Mac. They don't want to know that you need a new piece of software. People and opportunity are attracted to skills or talent. So if you have talent, people want to see it. People see it. There's a good chance opportunity is going to open up for you. So you want to have access to those files. So what I use is copy.com, which is basically, I'll put a link in my description for you guys so you can just click on it. It's basically a cloud-based storage. I don't put all my files there. I just put projects I've worked on. I put files that are probably under 5 gigs. They give you 15 gigs free, and it's pretty good. It works on your phone, it works on your computer, and they have a web access. They have web access, web API. Basically, you can log in from the website. And I also use Dropbox, and there's a couple other ones out there too. But primarily it's Copy and Dropbox, and I use a little bit of Google Drive too. And there's another program called BitTorrent Sync, which is pretty amazing. We're going to have a review on that in another video. But those applications help you distribute your files outside of your machine. So yes, the MacBook Retina is a cornerstone of what we're talking about today, and yes, it's the cornerstone of your setup if you decide to get one. But also, we need to have things that help complement it. I've done all this work on my Mac. I've done all this work on my machine. Doesn't mean anything if no one sees it. What good is having a skill or talent or some type of work you've done if you hide it? If you just put it away? It doesn't make any sense. Or keep it in this machine. And also distribution. So these things are just to get your content out there, so you have one, a backup, and two, a means to show some of your work. But distribution is more like a community where people can interact with you who are in the same field. So like 500px, which is a professional or high end. They call it Premier Photographers Community. That's what they call it. Which is basically high end photography that you can now post your work as well, get people to notice it, and just create more of a bigger footprint out there on the web. And that's important because, someone Googles you, they don't want to just know what you've done last week. They may want to see your track record. They may want to see the history of what you've done. So having a site like 500px is good. Having a site like SoundCloud for those who create music is good because you want to get your sounds out there. They don't give you a ton of space, but you can put some things out there. And having something like Vimeo, which is like a professional version of YouTube, they actually sell videos on there, and they actually rent them, things like that. And it's a good platform because a lot of professionals use it, and it has some interesting functionality, such as you can password protect your videos if it's just for you and the client to see. You can embed those videos on your page and still password protect them on Vimeo. You can actually, they give you gigs a week, and if you upgrade to the Pro account, you get 20 gigs a week. I think it's like 5 to 10 gigs a week on the standard account, and on the pro account, well, on the standard, there's a free account, there's a plus account, and there's a pro account. So I believe the plus is 5 gigs a week, and then the pro is 20 gigs a week. Plus you get a customized page. Plus you get to sell and distribute your content. So that's it for today, guys. The MacBook Pro Retina setup. How we're using it, or how I'm using it, and how you should use it when you actually get a machine either like this or even better. The Mac Pro is actually even more powerful, which is a whole nother level. But how to pretty much maximize some of the basic tools that are available to you, and how to preserve your investment. Till next time, guys, this is Sewell here. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.